Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Livestream Lee. Glad you're joining us today. We got a great episode today. We're going to be talking about a subject near and dear to every entrepreneur's heart: money, how to raise it, how to get it, how to find it. And so that's what's on the topic for today. We meet every day, Monday through Friday at 3 o'clock for 30 minutes or pretty close to it, for the purpose of helping you understand more about how to accelerate the growth of your business so that you can spend more time with your family, make more money, and retire wealthier. That's really what it's all about. That's why we have a business. So, with that thought in mind, I want to tell you about a really great interview that's coming up on Friday of this week. We're going to be talking to Bill Wallace. Bill Wallace is the founder of Success North Dallas. It is, without a doubt, the most influential, largest, most successful business networking event in Dallas, and it's been running on a monthly basis for about 25 years. I met Bill about 23 years ago, right when he was getting it started, a little after, and was blessed when I had Apricot Rocket to speak to the group. And it is an amazing group. And we're going to talk to Bill and learn a little bit more about how he has crafted this iconic Dallas institution from scratch. Great job, Bill. We look forward to talking to you on Wednesday, now or Friday, Friday the 16th. Also, I want to encourage you to go to livestreamlee.com and create an account. There's multiple reasons why you want to do this. First, it's free. Second, you get a technology called Apricot Rocket, which I have to say, because I built it and I'm biased, is an awesome digital marketing tool. Among other things, it lets you record videos and send them to people in your network, just like you do a quick little text message or something like that. You just record it, send it. There's a lot of cool stuff about Apricot Rocket. It also is a lead generation tool. And if you create an account, again, free, and tell us about your business, we're going to do everything that we can to help send you some referrals. So go to livestreamlee.com, click on the Join My Community button, create an account. And then another reason that you want to do this is because stuff like the slide decks I'm going to be sharing today, documents, spreadsheets, samples of business plans, subscription agreements, private placement memorandums, all of that kind of stuff, you're going to have access to that as a member. So go create yourself an account and get in on it. Now, I want to tell you about a guy named Bob. I know a lot of Bobs. I'm going to introduce you to two Bobs today, but there's a guy named Bob Hampton that I'd like to tell you about. Bob is a financial advisor that focuses his attention on business financial planning. And Bob's basically an exit strategy guy, and he is really good at helping you to plan for what it's going to look like at that point in time when you no longer want to get up every day and go into the office, or in my case, walk down the hall to the office. You know, the office looks different now than it used to. Bob's a really bright guy. He's a CPA and a financial advisor, and he does, again, focus specifically on helping you to plan for getting the maximum value out of your business when that time comes. So if you don't have somebody like that in your corner, and you should have people in your corner, if you don't have somebody like that in your corner, go to livestreamlee.com, find the button that says Bob Hampton, click on that button, and go to his website, sign up for his newsletter, get to know Bob. He's a great guy to have in your corner. All right. Now, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into our conversation today about raising capital. So here we go. Now, previously, in yesterday's episode, so you can find that at livestreamlee.com, we talked about equity capital, debt capital, and we were getting ready to jump into hybrid capital. So just real quick review. Equity capital is when somebody gives you money to own a piece of your business, and in exchange, they are patient and they wait for 3 to 5 years, typically, for you to sell the business or give them an exit opportunity. Now, that's equity capital. The next type of capital is debt capital. Debt is probably the most common capital. It's easy to get. You just go down to the bank and borrow some money. And our economy is based upon the concept of easy credit. The difference between equity and debt capital is real simple. You have to pay debt capital back pretty much starting immediately. And so the big challenge with debt capital is you get the money, you use the money, and maybe things don't go as well as you planned. And now you don't have the money and you got to start paying the money back. Well, people that lend you money, they expect to get paid. So that's the sort of the downside of debt capital. Now, people that invest in your business, they expect to get paid too, but they're willing to take a bigger risk than debt capital is. Now, there is a hybrid form of capital which combines the elements of debt and equity. And I want to spend just a moment talking about that. This is an especially useful concept when you're in an economic period when capital is tight. And we do periodically go through upswings and downswings. And when capital is tight, it makes sense to offer a convertible instrument. A convertible instrument basically is you borrow money from an investor and give them the option to convert your debt into equity at their option sometime in typically 3 years. So during the next 3 years, at any point in time that they want to, they can convert your debt into equity in the company. So you give them a great deal on conversion. And in the meantime, you pay them interest on the money that you've borrowed. Maybe you pay them interest in principal. It doesn't matter, but you can construct these however you want to. But what this does is two things. Number one, it lowers their risk by giving them two things. It gives them a current payment of interest, maybe even principal reduction, and it gives them the protection of being a creditor in the event something bad happens to your business. If something bad doesn't happen and the business looks like it's going to make a whole bunch of money, then they have the upside of converting their debt into your debt into equity. So hybrid debt instruments are debt capital instruments are often very attractive and can sweeten the pot, if you will, to investors that are interested but maybe not quite ready to pull the trigger on doing a deal with you. Okay. Now, I want to just ever so slightly adjust this and make sure that you can see it. So this is pretty much a list of all of the different types of funding and financing that are available from an equity perspective. Personal savings, friends and family, crowdfunding. I have crowdfunding on there twice because I'm going to introduce it and then I'm going to come back and talk at greater length about it. There's angel investors, partners, venture capital companies, corporate venture capital. You can take a company public. You can raise money through private placements. And again, you can raise money through crowdfunding. So let's go ahead and dig in and talk about each of these in sequence. The first place that you start typically when you're raising money is your own back pocket. In most cases, the entrepreneur trying to raise equity capital needs to have a personal stake in the business. This is especially important when it's your first deal because investors don't know you. They don't know what you're capable of. You have no history. So while it's not an ironclad rule, it is typically very advisable when you do your first deal to have some capital of your own that you can put into the deal. Now let's talk for just a moment about what that should look like, how much that should be. Generally speaking, the threshold for how much capital you should put in relative to how much capital that you have is a function of pain. Investors typically want to see you have a significant enough stake in the business to where they know your interests are perfectly aligned with their interests. And that means they want to know that if you fail, not only do you lose their money, but you lose your money, enough of your money to have pain. What does that mean? I'll just give you a scenario. Let's say you have let's say it's been 10 years since you got out of school. You've been working in industry. You've got some skills and you've saved some money. You've got a family and you've got some kids. And you decide that you want to take off on a entrepreneurial venture and you've saved $50,000. Well, it would be foolish to put all $50,000 into a venture. That would indicate that you don't balance risk and return and look out for the interests of your family. So you don't want to basically strip your family savings of all of the money and put it in the venture. But you want to take enough money out of the savings that you've accumulated so that whatever you do put in the venture, if you lose that money, the investor knows that you calling up your spouse and saying, darling, we lost our 30,000, we lost our 25,000, we lost our 40,000 that I put in. They know that you don't want to have that call. Now, if you've saved 50 and you put 5,000 in, you may not even have to make that call, darling, in over dinner. Oh, darling, by the way, we lost our $5,000 today. That's a small enough amount to where it doesn't hurt. So the threshold that an investor is typically going to look at is, did you put enough in of your own money to be painful in the event that it fails? Because they want to know that you are motivated to make sure that that business doesn't fail. Because if it fails, they're going to lose their money. They want to make sure that you are properly motivated. So that's the most sort of like the most important sort of metric that I can give you about how much you should put in. Now, when you move beyond your own personal savings to friends and family, it's a really true statement that nobody knows you better than your family and your friends. And it is a good idea to have some initial money from family and friends so that investors can look at you and know that there are people that know you well, that have known you all your life, that trust you and believe in you well enough to put some money up into the game, into the business that you're talking to them about. So it's not that you should soak your friends and family for every penny that they have. By all means, don't go to Aunt Matilda and have her cash out of her oil wells, or Uncle Bob and have Uncle Bob, cash in his savings to be able to invest. Don't do that. If you have people in your friends and family network that have the ability to make an investment without being harmed in the event of a failure and a loss, ask them to put some in. Investors love seeing the fact that you have gotten some vouching money from friends and family, because again, that just tells them that the people that know you best and have known you longest trust you. So that's important. Now, when you do get money from friends and family, make sure that you do a couple of things. First of all, keep the arrangement strictly business. Provide them a thorough, complete private placement memorandum with all of the risks that you can possibly think of detailed out. Try to ensure that they read it, that they don't just cut you a check because they remember you as that cute little kid playing in the backyard in the summertime. Make sure that they have asked questions and that they understand the business, because you want to treat them absolutely positively as investors and give them the respect of disclosing everything that you possibly can and give them a chance to ask questions. Don't treat them with any degree of sort of expectation of obligation because of family. Give them the professional respect that you would any investor. But always remember that you want to make sure you pass what I call the turkey test. Never take more money from friends or family, especially family, that if they lose it and then next Thanksgiving you go to Thanksgiving dinner and they show up, you don't want it to be a big awkward thing because you've lost a bunch of money they couldn't afford to lose. So make sure that you don't violate sort of that turkey test. All right. Next, let's look at angel investors. Now, this is where things start to get kind of interesting, I think. There are a lot of angels out there. An angel investor is really just simply somebody that can put money into a deal that typically meets the qualifications of being a professional investor, basically I'm losing track of the thought here. Let's see here. I'm having one of those moments where I can't remember what the word is. Okay, you're looking for Oh, Lee, come on. This is disadvantages of going public. Simplified. Okay, here we go. Accredited investor. I don't know why I couldn't. I got myself all nervous. Couldn't remember accredited investor. Okay, you don't want to. You want to make sure. I mean, angel investors are typically accredited investors, and that typically means that they're relatively wealthy individuals. Angel investors are also what you would typically consider to be patient money. They are people that are willing to take extremely high levels of risk, and they get in at the very earliest stages of a business. They know that many of the deals they invest in are going to be failures. In fact, angel investors will typically look at a 10 deal package. And I don't mean, hey, bring me a 10 deal package, but they'll look at 10 deals and they will expect to lose money, completely lose their investment on about half of those deals. On another 3 or 4 of the deals, say 3, they're hoping to get their money back. And on 1 or 2 of the deals, they'd like to get 10 to 50 times their money back. They want 10 to 50 times their money back on every deal. And they do all of the due diligence that they possibly can to ensure that they don't lose money on any of the deals. But they know from experience that because they invest at very early stages, where business models are not yet proven, and where pipelines for generating clients and growing the business have not yet been proven, they know that they're investing at a highly risk early stage point in the life of the business. And then because of that, they know that somewhere close to about 50% of the deals they invest in, they're just going to lose their money. But they do it anyway because they're also looking for those 1 or 2 out of 10 deals where they can get 10 to 50 times their money back, which means that they will ultimately be able to get a great return on their overall investment. Angel investors are typically people that have been in industry. They've been very successful, probably as senior executives in big companies. They retired with a big stock bonus program, or maybe they've just done well saving their money. They have a tendency initially to invest in deals that are related to the industry that they got their experience in. And that means that every industry that you might be thinking about starting a business is going to have angel investors that understand the technology and understand the environment of that industry. And they're looking for ways to be able to utilize that knowledge to give them a sort of a leg up, if you will, on making a smart decision in the industry that they're in. And then over time, they begin to branch out, especially if they're successful. So angel investors are a great source of, like I said, patient money. They will typically invest around $50,000 in a business. They will invest in smaller businesses, again, early stage, smaller businesses than venture capitalists will invest in. We'll talk about venture capitalists next and describe kind of what they're interested in. Angel investors can be found in a variety of ways. The average angel investor, again, will put in about $50,000. They'll do 1 to 2 deals a year. They, again, are a source of really great patient money. The challenge, of course, is to find them. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of websites, but certainly looking on the internet is one place to find them. I'm going to give you some clues. If you know people that live in houses that are in the 1 to 1.5 million range and up, typically they're in gated communities, or, for example, in North Dallas, in Preston Forest or Highland Park or those areas. Almost everybody that fits into those areas is probably qualified as both an accredited investor, and many of them are angels. People that have successful businesses also might very well be doing angel investments on the side. So if you know people that kind of fit those parameters, chances are pretty good that they might be an angel investor. Now, a great way to approach investors is to ask them to review your business plan. So if you think you know somebody that's an angel investor from within your personal network and you approach them, a great way to do it is to just ask for their help and for their feedback on your business plan or your private placement. And a phone call would real simply go along the lines of, let's call him Bob. Hey, Bob, I'm thinking about starting a business. I've built a business plan. I'm looking for some funding, and I know that you've been a successful person in your career. I would love it if you would be willing to take a look at the plan that I've put together and give me your thoughts and feedback. Of course, if you're interested, I'd be delighted to know that, but I really am mostly looking for your feedback because I know you've been successful. You've seen a lot of deals like this, and I'd like to hear if you see some angles or thoughts that I haven't thought of. Would you be willing to take a look at it for me? Have an honest conversation. They know that if they're interested, they can always tell you, yeah, hey, you know what, I'd like to be in on this. And you'll be able to tell by the questions they ask you whether or not they're actually interested. So this is not a disingenuous attempt to get them to invest in your business. You really do need to present your private placement to a small cadre of people before you kind of go on the road and start trying to raise money, because you need to test it and get some valuable feedback from your target audience per se as you begin the process of raising capital. So now you can also find angels from websites, and I just did a quick search on Google, and I plugged in Angel Investors Dallas, and I plugged in Angel Investors Fort Worth, and I could have typed Angel Investor Network or Angel Investor Groups or Angel Investor Clubs, and I might have gotten a slightly different answer. But I just put in Angel Investors, like I said, Dallas, and then Fort Worth, and I found 5 angel organizations online. There's NorthTexasAngels.org, DallasAngelNetwork.com, Angel Investment Network, /Angel Investment Dallas, the Cowtown Angels Group, and TechFortWorth.org. These are 5 angel networks that are seeking investment opportunities. So let me describe how these things work. These are clubs where people that qualify as angel investors or think of themselves as angel investors, when I say qualify, that really just means that they think of themselves as an angel and they have enough money to be able to get into risky investments. There's no governmental or state or any kind of industry criteria that they have to meet to be an angel. All they have to do is think of themselves as angel and have money that they're willing to put into an early stage venture. So they get in touch with angel networks like the ones you see on screen here, and they join the club. Typically, there's some membership of some sort involved, but the way they work it is this. They invite entrepreneurs with business ideas to come to a pitch day. Most of the angel networks will have a monthly pitch day. It's typically a Saturday morning, and they'll have a room in a business, an office building, maybe a conference room. Sometimes they'll rent a room in a hotel. And of course, now with COVID, they're doing these things online. But they'll invite entrepreneurs to make a pitch on pitch day. And they'll typically invite anywhere between about 5 and 10 entrepreneurs. The pitch time is typically about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes of pitch, and then Q&A, maybe a total of 20 minutes or thereabouts for the total time that the entrepreneur has in front of the group. So the entrepreneur will be scheduled to come in on pitch day, and they will have a projector and have a place for you to stand at the front of the room where you describe the deal that you've got, and then you answer questions from the audience. Now, the audience will typically be composed of both angels and other entrepreneurs that are sitting in. So if you attend some of these pitch days, you can get a sense for how they go. But I've been to them before, and they're just friendly affairs. You sit there. If you're an investor or the entrepreneur not making the pitch, you watch the pitch. There's 3 or 4 pitches, then a break, and then another 3 or 4 or 10 pitches total. And then the morning is over and everybody goes their way. Now, if you're making a pitch and an angel investor is interested in your business, what will typically happen is either at the break or at the end of the meeting, they'll find their way over to you, or they may just say during Q&A, hey, come see me afterwards. I'd like to talk to you. That's your goal. Your goal when you go to an investor, an angel investor pitch day is simply to be able to get a business card. You're not going to sign up money. You're not going to get a check there. What you do is you get indications of interest, and then you you just meet people, and you get the opportunity to make a presentation to a genuine angel investor later. Now, a lot of times the angel investors in these clubs will collaboratively go in together on a deal. And it's not at all uncommon for an angel investor commitment to sound basically like this. And by the way, this is the same that a venture capital investment commitment will sound like. I'm in for 50. You need 500. I'm in for 50, but you need 9 other people to come in for 50. So mark me down as being in for 50, but I'm not going to cut you a check until you have the names of 9 other people. Or they might sign the subscription agreement documents, but hold the check, or even give you the check, but not let you cash it until you've got the other amount of money that you need. Now, they will often be willing to give you a verbal commitment contingent upon you raising either the full amount or some threshold amount to get you to the point where they think you have enough. But that's the way it works, is you meet them, they express an interest, they give you a card, you set an appointment, you go have a meeting, you explain the deal. Now, I've had angel investors cut deals, cut checks as literally as fast as the day I met them. My very first angel investor, I flew out to Santa Fe and met this person on a Friday morning. He'd recently sold a company, made a bunch of money. 2 hours and a couple of bottles of wine later, the guy cut me a check for $20,000. I wasn't drinking wine. He was. Sometimes you get stories that are fun. Sometimes it takes several months to be able to get the angel investor to cut you a check. But it is a great way, going to angel clubs, to meet the kinds of investors that are very early stage investors. Now, some of these clubs will charge a fee of anywhere between $500 and $1,000 or $1,500 for the right to make a pitch on pitch day. And honestly, that's a reasonable fee to be able to have access to a room full of potential investors. And if you don't believe in your ability enough to be able to pay that fee, then maybe you don't believe in your deal enough to justify making a pitch. Now, angel investors don't run their clubs as profit centers. They don't need that. But they do have expenses. Of course, they have some website expenses and stuff like that. That's not a big deal. But on pitch day, if they have a pitch room at a hotel, that typically will be nice hotels, Park City Country Club, they might rent a room there, a Hyatt or something like that, DoubleTree. Those rooms have a cost. And so they need to defray the costs of the room and a few other nominal costs. So expect to be asked to pay a nominal fee to have access to the angel investor group on pitch day. As far as the number of angel investors there are, angel financing is consistent. Now, this data, I could only find data for back in the 2011 timeframe, but bottom line is angel investors are people that always have cash. They're not overly impacted by downturns in the economy. So you don't really have to worry too much about them not having cash at a given point in time. These are people that are very well heeled. They're also very smart, and they'll ask tough questions, and they'll be available to make introductions and open their network to you when they make an investment. And that can be extremely valuable, especially if the angel comes from the industry that you're already in. They may be able to open some doors that are extremely valuable to you. Okay, so today's episode really just covered angel investing, and I'm going to go ahead and pop out of that. And I want to, before I end, I want to tell you about a friend of mine named Bob Hurt. Bob is, he's a professional in corporate branding, apparel branding. Bob has been in the industry for 50 years. He started out literally as a kid selling T-shirts, and that's been his profession for the better part of 50 years. I recently got some corporate branded apparel, logo stuff. I'm not wearing one today, but Bob got me a great deal and got some beautiful decorations on a real high quality shirt. If you, by chance, are in a business where you need branded corporate apparel, which I think most businesses could use it, give Bob Hurt a call. Go to livestreamlee.com. You'll see a button on the side for Bob Hurt, Impressions Unlimited. Bob will get you a great deal on corporate branded apparel. All right, tomorrow we'll continue our conversation on the subject of funding and financing your business. Please come back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And in the meantime, visit livestreamlee.com, join our community, and see you tomorrow at 3. Thanks for joining. Bye.